Okay, good evening. I call the North Orange Village Board meeting for Monday, June 15th, 2026 to order. Please join me in a silent prayer and meditation. All right, thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gabino.
Here.
Trustee Christensen.
Here.
Trustee Gately.
Here.
Trustee Lowry.
Here.
Trustee Nedved.
Here.
Trustee Salazar.
Here.
All right, thank you. Under honest comments, we have 3 signed up. Just come up and state your name and address when you do. Kirby, up first.
Hello, my name is Kirby Hodge-Moston. I'm at 415 East Victoria Circle. And mine is really just a question. We had the village come out and take a look at some sidewalks that were raised and kind of posed some risk to like our neighbors in the community. So we just wanted to see if there was like any timeline on getting those fixed or raised or leveled or whatever. That was it.
All right, thank you. Brian, you have anything on that? Or?
Brandon walked the neighborhood and got a list of addresses, and we're going to send it out for a cutting proposal. So we'll cut the ones that we can cut, and then eventually replace the ones that we can't cut. So it's in the works.
Perfect. And then I did have one other thing. There is like an area that is like, when you did the walk, there's like an area that's on East Victoria that has like a tree that circles around. There was like an area there that's very raised, but it wasn't marked. So I didn't know if you wanted to look at that. But is the tree our responsibility to maintain? Because there's also like the area there that's like lowered and it kind of washes out in the rain.
Yeah, there's the right of way in that area is kind of weird because of the townhomes and how everything sits. So what we can do is we'll double check that area to make sure that kind of falls within our right of way and not the HOA.
Okay.
But if there are roots, when we level it out or dig them out, they'll take care of the roots too.
Perfect. Thank you.
So when you mean cut, you mean grind? Yeah, but grind them down.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
And just a quick clarification, if the sidewalk needs to be removed, typically we do it as part of our road program annually. So if it's a cutting program, it's usually quicker. Otherwise, it waits typically to the next year in the summertime for the squares unless they're an emergency situation.
All right. Up next, Jeff McCormick.
Hi, Jeff McCormick, 1435 Waterford Road. I'm here to address the Shodine proposal. I'm not here to argue against growth, but to stand up for the safety, the fiscal health, and long-term well-being of our village. I urge the boards to recognize a profound ethical truth. A local government should never trade residents' trust, quality of life, physical safety, its children, families, for a temporary line on a municipal balance sheet. This village has done a commendable job. It's got a great track record, so this is not a criticism, but it's a compliment. But as we're looking at the density of all of the apartment buildings that have gone up recently and what is proposed and on the agenda tonight, I feel we're being sold a vision of Shodine's for a dense rental complex that is being oversold. As I look at the financial statements of the village for 2026, 2027, it states we are in a strong financial standing and we have a balanced operating budget. So it indicates that we don't need this development from a tax base. If you couple that with the resident sentiments who don't want it, who is this going to benefit? Having all these additional rental properties, who is it going to benefit? I'll share some of the concerns of some of the neighborhoods. We were told in the previous meeting that a traffic study was already conducted. There's a lot of unoccupied apartments in that region along Miller Drive, so I don't know what the traffic study told us. I don't know if that can be shared, but it appears that it only counted cars and tires. It has erased the people who actually live here. There's a lot of inventory of apartments in that region that are still not completed. So adding the volume that is being proposed by Shodine is going to create a bit of a problem. The connected village streets are 2-lane residential roads. They are not highway corridors. There are limited number of choke points to get all of those cars in and out of these apartment complexes. It's not the Shodine proposal. It's those that are already in construction and wrapping up. The study ignores critical pedestrian, bicycle, and child crossing at those choke points, especially during peak morning and afternoon hours. Placing hundreds of commuter vehicles in a high-density complex, as tightly as those apartments are, both proposed and existing, we're adding traffic to an unanalyzed neighborhood choke point. Again, I don't know what your traffic study told you. I walk these streets, I drive these streets daily. There's problems today before these apartments are occupied. High-density complexes, they prove to always create a sharp vertical spike in emergency service calls. Fire and police will be stretched by this, and the taxpayers are going to be left to carry the extra municipal workload and the costs associated with that. This issue is accumulative, given the large inventory of neighborhood rentals that are already townhomes that are up the road. We've packed too many people in a small place and call ourselves a village is ultimately the consensus. In the previous meeting, members of the committee did share that they had concerns about traffic issues at the corner of Oak and Miller. Today, with that being a dead end, members of the village had concerns about traffic in that intersection. If we allow the Shodine expansion to run that road through and add several hundred residents on that road, that intersection is going to be a problem for the taxpayers to live with and the residents to live with. So if this Shodine building is going to happen, we need to understand how Shodine is going to help fund the bill to fix that intersection problems that are already there and will multiply. Another note on the traffic study. In the previous meeting, there was a disagreement between the residents that were here and the board members in Shodine as far as how many parking spots per apartment were required. The board was worried about parked cars on the street. I'm worried about how many more vehicles are going to be driving around as our children are trying to cross on these sidewalks. I'm going to come back on parking spots in a moment. We were told, I believe 1.6 is being allocated for this apartment. Shodine's typical is 1.25 cars per apartment, and the national average and the village's requirements is above that. I believe the village requires 2 per apartment. So let's look at real world data, not the corporate promises. Shodine has a documented regional history of putting corporate self-interest over municipal well-being. There is currently ongoing legal with Geneva, accumulating over $300,000 according to public records right now. Rather than maintaining historical property, they continue to go to court. Mill Creek had a litigation that resulted in multi-million-dollar liability to the city. These are the people we're going to bed with if we do this business. When a developer like Shodine builds and leaves, they pocket the profit and the village is left with permanent public maintenance liability, the impact on the infrastructure it leaves, the drain on the city resources, and the code enforcement battles. If we look at the Shodine presentation, many of you weren't here that night. I don't know if it was the same presentation previously. There was some terms that raised a red flag for me. One of them talked about their cabinetry. They wanted them to look custom. They wanted the materials to appear to be quality. If you want it to look like quality, do quality. So this sparked more interest, and I did a lot of research on consumer reports of Shodine properties. And the real world tells me is the rental properties has terrible feedback. Oddly enough, the number 2 complaint, not enough parking. But we were told what they're allocating is more than enough. So do we trust the people that live in their properties, or do we trust the people here selling us to allow them to build in our village? I would hope that that presentation was not dishonest. There was also a request for multiple code variations and changes. One of the panel members said, and I give them credit, if it was a homeowner asking for these changes, the answer would be no. So if the answer would be no to one of us, why would it not be no to somebody coming in from out of town and building here? If we say yes to a wealthy builder and no to residential, then we have ethic and moral discussions on the table. A village is not a city. Our infrastructure was not designed for this urban level density. We've created a lot. It's time to draw the line. Residents who moved to this village to be away from those large urban developments like this are now going to be impacted by it coming after us. Your sacred ethical duty as elected officials is to serve as stewards of our quality of life, not as brokers for private out-of-town corporations. We live here. Right next door to this property in question on Miller Drive, Randall Terrace is wrapping up construction. Adding that to Shodine's proposed footprint, it's going to be too much. It's going to be a glaring monument of oversaturation that will stick out like a sore thumb on our village map for decades to come for our children to deal with. I ask that the board table any voting or zoning approval for this. Make transparent the traffic study that was done. Require an independent third-party pedestrian, bicycle safety, and impact assessment. Mandate that Shodine post a front-funded performance bond before single permit. Please protect our neighborhoods, our children, and the public trust. I thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you. Next up, Mark Sorrentino.
Mark Sorrentino, 1051 Kettle Avenue, North Aurora. I welcome the development. I think it's encouraging to get developers of good character in the city and the village. I've developed a number of properties here, and I think that it's going to be a good project. I've got some concerns, mostly our health safety issues with the access that is being considered along Randall Road in the middle of the property. My main concern is there are a lot of vehicles going in and out. I mean, a lot. You've got 450 units, and everybody's got a car and a half. You got 700 cars. If they all go out once a day, you've got 1,400 movements. Granted, you've got a couple of stoplights and other access points, but the access along Randall Road, unfortunately, first of all, they're calling for a full access, which I think is crazy. But either way, and I get the diagram kind of indicates that they're crossing over an existing taper and stacking lane that leads into Randall Commons where the Walgreens and Aldi's is. So that means movements going northbound and make it a left turn lane, left turn into there, and left turns and right turns out of there, crossing over that taper where they're supposed to be a deaccelerating to go into Randall Commons and stacking for cars there. So I don't know. Traffic study, I don't know. It's pretty complex, so I'm not going to comment on it, but I can't believe that that's an okay situation. So I think it's a safety issue, especially on Randall Road with cars going 40, 50 miles an hour. You know, you're coming up to the light at Oak, but you still got a fair amount of traffic, and this is going to add to it. Last thing, and it's kind of a development issue, but I'm not against the development. And there's only 2 outlots, but I don't need to tell anybody if you drive up and down Randall Road between Orchard and Oak Street, there's probably 10 vacant lots that have been there for years that haven't sold or developed. Hopefully, Shodine can bring in some good development, but Randall Road probably doesn't need another much more commercial use. And none of those, by the way, have access directly into Randall Road. So that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Want to address that a little bit, that turn lane or?
Do you want to go through it now or wait till committee of the whole when we have the?
Yeah, let's just wait. Yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on. Consent agenda, Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight on the consent agenda, we have our minutes from our last board meeting, our bills list, and the agreement for AID, which is the group we use for our social worker that we contract with at the police department.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll, please.
Trustee Christensen,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
Mayor Rubino.
Yes. Okay, moving on to new business. Item 1, Nathan.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. The first item is the site plan approval for the Club Car Wash located in the Orchard Commerce subdivision. So this is off of Genesis Drive, just south of the Dunkin' Donuts on Orchard. The car wash is a permitted use in that PUD. They just need site plan approval. They are not asking for any code exceptions or variances. It went to the Planning Commission last month. The board saw it on June 1st, and it's back now for its final vote.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Christensen,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 2, Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 2 tonight is the purchase of 8 North Lincoln Way. This property is in the area that the village board and has indicated in our strategic plan and our comprehensive plan for future development. The contract was negotiated and brought for the board an executive session for discussion for the sales amount, which is on the agenda tonight for $275,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Christensen,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 3, Nathan.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is for the purchase of 105 North Lincoln Way in the amount of $25,000. This property, if you recall, has a lot of longstanding code enforcement issues, and the property owner recently passed away. The village is settling the claims by purchasing the property at this reduced price. So this approval will approve the contract for $25,000 and also approve the settlement agreement for the court case.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Christensen,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry,
Yes.
trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar.
Yes.
All right, item 4, Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 4 tonight is the, one second. This is the ordinance accepting a bid for the purchase of the property at 1111, so 1111 Orchard Gateway Boulevard. This is the village's owned property. The reason it is on the agenda tonight is, as you may recall, we received a letter of intent for the purchase of that property from JCB to build a center for construction equipment sales. And at that time, by law, because we're a municipal entity, we have to then go out to a 30-day window period before we sell any property to see if there are any other bids from any other proposals from companies that are also interested in the property. That 30-day window has closed. With that 30-day window closed, we are essentially moving forward, accepting the bid, which is the LOI that was presented by JCB in the amount of $1 million for the property. And then we will be going forward with negotiations if approved tonight. So this is not a contract. This is basically the approval to sell the property to JCB, where we will still negotiate a contract and bring it back to the board for final approval.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Nedved,
Yes.
trustee Salazar,
Yes.
trustee Christensen,
Yes.
trustee Gately,
Yes.
trustee Lowry.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Last item 5, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff is requesting authorization to purchase 3 2026 Ford Police Interceptor Explorers from Morrow Brothers Ford through the Illinois State Bid Program. After evaluating other state bid options and local dealerships, Morrow Brothers provided the most competitive pricing. The total estimated cost is $189,345 or $63,115 per vehicle. This includes a complete turnkey police package consisting of emergency lighting, sirens, cages, consoles, and related equipment. The police department budgeted $200,000 in the vehicle and equipment fund for fiscal year 2026 and 2027 for this purchase. Staff requests approval of the purchase of 3 2026 Ford Police Interceptor Explorers for Morrow Brothers Ford at a total cost not to exceed $189,345.
Motion to approve.
Second. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately,
Yes.
Trustee Lowry,
Yes.
Trustee Nedved,
Yes.
Trustee Salazar,
Yes.
Trustee Christensen.
Yes. All right, thank you. That concludes new business. Village President report, I have none. Trustee comments? Administrator report?
Very quickly, we had a successful craft fair at the Crossroads at the Creativity of the Crossroads on Saturday. And we also held our first event at the Public Works Building on Sunday, where we had the public come out there for a beautification committee, an event where basically people got to learn how to pot plants to beautify their homes in the front yards. We plan on doing more of those types of events. It was very well received. We were fully booked.
Great, thank you. Department reports? I haven't seen none. Motion adjourned.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. We'll be starting the committee of the whole shortly.